welcome to the deep dive. Okay, let's picture this. You're in southwestern Morocco. It's sunny, arid, kind of dusty maybe, and then you see it, something that just makes you stop. A goat. But it's not on the ground. It's way up, maybe 20 feet in the air, balanced on these spindly tree branches. And your first thought is probably, what on earth is going on here?
Oh, absolutely. It's such a striking image, isn't it? Goats belong on rocks, maybe nibbling bushes, seeing them up in the canopy like that. Well, it looks completely unnatural at first glance.
Right, and that image, that question, that's our jumping off point today. This isn't just a weird photo op. We're doing a deep dive into this whole really specific world built around the Argan tree. We'll look at the biology, how they even do it, the huge economy behind it, and the serious conservation worries, too.
Exactly, and we've looked at several sources that explain this whole system. The key thing, really, is that the goat isn't just some quirky outlier. It's actually a vital part of how these Argan groves function, both ecologically and economically.
Okay, so let's start with the goat itself. Climbing up there, risking a fall. What's the payoff? Why do they bother?
Well, the main driver is food. Simple as that, but it's high-quality food. The Argan tree produces this fruit. It's got a fleshy pulp around a really hard nut inside. And that pulp, it's sweet, it's nutty, and it's packed with calories. Think of it as a goat superfood.
Ah, okay, so in that dry landscape where maybe food is scarce.
Precisely. Compared to the dry scrub they might usually eat, this fruit is an energy jackpot. Much more bang for their buck, nutritionally speaking. They eat the leaves too, mind you.
Makes sense. Powerful incentive. But still,
Yeah.
climbing trees. Mammals aren't typically built for that. How do they manage it physically?
Well, that comes down to their amazing anatomy, specifically their hooves. We know goats are good climbers, right, on rocks and stuff, but their hooves are like little engineering masterpieces, almost like nature's perfect rock climbing shoe.
A rock climbing shoe. How does that work on a branch?
It's got two key parts. The outer edge is this super hard material, keratin, like our fingernails, but tougher. That hard edge lets them grip onto the tiniest little bumps or cracks in the bark, even on a narrow branch.
Okay, so that's the grip.
Right. But then, inside that hard whim, the pad is soft and sort of pliable. It molds to the shape of the branch, acting like a shock absorber and almost like a suction cup. Gives them incredible stability, even if the surface is a bit smooth or slippery.
So hard edge for the grip, soft pad for stability and traction.
Yeah.
That allows them to get up so high.
Exactly that. They move with this amazing precision. You see them on branches that look way too thin to hold them. Now, it's not foolproof. Accidents do happen.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. 20 feet is a long way down.
It is, and sometimes they tumble. You might see goats with broken horns, for instance. Horns grow back, thankfully, and good shepherds help manage the risks. But yeah, it shows there's a real risk involved in getting that reward.
Okay, the goat is definitely an impressive athlete. But you mentioned earlier, this whole story really revolves around the Argan tree. It's not just any tree. It's called a keystone species. Well, why is it so critical for that whole region?
Well, the Argan tree it's practically unique to this one part of Morocco, and it's literally holding the ecosystem together. It's incredibly adapted to harsh conditions. Think about its roots.
Deep, I imagine.
Extremely deep. They can go down tens of feet, searching for water deep underground. This does two vital things. It finds water where other plants can't, and it anchors the soil. Without these trees, that area would face serious soil erosion, possibly turning to desert, so it's the cornerstone of biodiversity there. Plus, its leaves are waxy to reduce water loss, and its flowers feed bees that make this unique nutty honey.
Wow, so it's an ecological powerhouse. And then there's the economic side, argan oil.
Yeah.
It's everywhere in high-end cosmetics, fancy cooking oils. Why is it so incredibly valuable and, let's be honest, so expensive?
Yeah, the price tag reflects a couple of things. Scarcity, for one, since the tree only grows there, and the oil itself is fantastic, rich in vitamin E, fatty acids. But the real driver of the cost, it's the sheer amount of human labor involved in getting the oil out.
Okay, walk us through that. The fruit falls, people collect it, then what?
First, the fruit has to be dried, often for weeks in the sun. Then the pulp, the part the goats love, is removed. What's left is the nut. And this nut, it's notoriously tough, among the hardest shells in the world.
So you can't just stick it in a machine.
Generally, no. Industrial cracking often damages the delicate kernels inside. So traditionally, and often still today, they have to be cracked by hand, one by one, usually using two stones. It's incredibly meticulous work.
By hand, wow. In this day and age, that's intensive.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it doesn't stop there. After cracking, the kernels are usually roasted slightly, then ground into a paste, often with a stone mill. Then water is added, and the paste is kneaded, again, often by hand, to press out the oil. It's then filtered. Now, get this for a statistic. Our sources say you need over 30 kilograms of argan fruit.
30 kilograms? That's like, what, 65 pounds?
Roughly, yes. Over 30 kilos of fruit, all that processing, just to produce 100 milliliters of oil. That's less than half a cup.
I mean, 30 kilos for less than half a cup.
Uh-huh.
Okay?
Yeah.
That completely changes how you look at a bottle of argan oil. That's immense effort.
It is. It really highlights the value embedded in that manual labor. But this is where our climbing friend, the goat, comes back into the picture in a surprising way.
Right. We established the goat loves the fruit. But given how hard it is to get the pulp off and crack that nut,
Yeah.
the goat must be doing something useful in return beyond just being a tourist site.
Oh, absolutely. It's this really neat bit of natural synergy. So the goats eat the fruit, pulp and all, and they swallow the hard nut whole.
Okay.
And then their digestive system does some of the work. The journey through the goat effectively removes that fleshy pulp. And then, well, the nuts are eventually excreted, pooped out, basically.
Nature's little processing plant.
Exactly. And this process does two key things. One, it cleans the nut, removing the pulp. Two, it disperses the seeds. The goats wander around and deposit these nuts far and wide, which is crucial because argan trees need a lot of space. Their roots and branches spread out. The goats act as perfect little seed spreaders.
So the goat does the messy first step pulp removal and handles the planting and spacing, all for free. That's quite a service.
It's a remarkable natural loop, and there's an economic angle too, because the goats have done the hard work of depulping and partially drying the nut. Some communities and co-ops actually collect these goat processed nuts to make oil.
Really? They collect the nuts from the goat droppings.
Yes. And because that initial labor step is skipped, oil made from these nuts is often a bit cheaper to produce.
Huh. Does it taste different? Or is the quality the same?
There can be a difference, yeah. Especially for culinary oil. The passage through the goat's gut can cause a slight fermentation. So oil from these nuts might have a stronger, maybe earthier, some say goaty flavor. For high-end cosmetic oil, where purity of scent and profile is key, they usually stick to the fully hand-processed kernels. So it kind of depends what the oil is for.
That's fascinating, another layer to it all. But this brings us to the other big economic factor you mentioned. Tourism. Those images are famous.
Yeah, and this is where things get, well, a bit ethically murky sometimes. The sight of the goats in the trees is a huge tourist draw. Argan tourists, they're sometimes called. And that tourism brings in vital income for local farmers, which is good.
But,
Yeah.
I sense a but coming.
But the demand for that perfect photo, that Instagram shot, has created problems. The temptation is there for some farmers to guarantee the tourists see goats in trees, even if the goats wouldn't naturally be there at that moment.
You mean they put them there?
Sometimes, yes. They might place goats, especially younger ones, onto lower branches or specially built platforms, just for the photos. They might even tie them loosely.
Oh, no. So the picture isn't always real.
Unfortunately, not always. And think about the goats. They might be forced to stand there for hours, often in the hot sun, with crowds of people around. It's stressful for the animals. It's not natural behavior. It's a performance. And it exploits the very thing people have come to see.
That's really disheartening. So if someone listening is planning a trip, how can they tell the difference? How can they support ethical viewing?
It's usually pretty clear if you know what to look for. Are the goats actually eating? Are they moving around, maybe jumping between branches or different trees? That's likely natural foraging. If they're all crammed onto one easily accessible tree, standing stock still, looking uncomfortable, maybe with a shepherd actively encouraging photos for tips, that's probably staged. The ethical choice is to support places, maybe local co-ops, where the goats are part of the working landscape, moving freely, not just props.
Okay, that's really important context. Focus on the behavior, not just the static image. But all this discussion about the goats, the oil, the tourism, it all depends on the argan tree itself. Well, you mentioned conservation challenges. How threatened is this keystone species?
It's seriously threatened, unfortunately. Despite all its amazing adaptations, its resilience has limits. The biggest threat now is climate change. We're seeing rising temperatures and, crucially, more frequent and severe droughts in the region.
And even those deep roots can't cope.
Prolonged drought stresses even the hardiest trees. The very adaptations that let it survive in arid conditions make it vulnerable when those conditions become extreme year after year. Water tables drop, regeneration becomes harder.
And if the argan grows decline.
Yeah.
That sounds like a disaster waiting to happen.
It really is. It's a potential domino effect. Lose the trees, you lose the soil stability, you lose the unique biodiversity, you lose the Argan oil economy, which supports tens of thousands of people, mostly women in rural co-ops. You lose the tree climbing goats, or at least the reason for their climbing. It would be devastating ecologically, economically, and culturally.
Is anything being done? Is there hope?
Yes, definitely. There's a lot of effort going into conservation, protecting the existing groves, restoring degraded areas. This involves things like promoting sustainable farming, maybe rotating where goats graze so young trees aren't overeaten. Education is key too for farmers and consumers, and promoting that responsible ecotourism we talked about, where the money genuinely supports the communities who are stewards of these forests.
So wrapping this up for our listeners, this deep dive started with a really strange, almost comical image, a goat up a tree. But as we've unpacked it, it's this incredible meeting point of biology, those amazing hooves, a harsh environment, and this whole human economy that sprung up around it.
Right. And we saw the incredible human effort that goes into producing argan oil. Traditionally, remember that, 30 kilos for less than half a cup. And then contrasted that with the free ecological service the goats provide just by eating and, well, pooping out the seeds, ensuring the next generation of trees.
Which leads us to a final thought, something for you to consider. When we value something like argan oil, we tend to focus on the price tag, which reflects that intense human labor, the cracking, the pressing. But how much value do we, or should we, assign to that natural process? The goat's role in dispersal, which is absolutely essential for the tree's long-term survival.
Yeah, thinking about that balance, the value of human work versus the value of a natural ecological function, it really shapes how we should approach conservation, doesn't it? Maybe next time you see an argan product, think about that whole intricate system, the tree, the tenacious goats, the hardworking communities, and look for ways to support the sustainable, ethical side of that incredible story.